I'm Mirka Jokelainen, publisher for Progress Test in Maths. We've created these support videos to help you get the most from our assessments. In this module, we'll look specifically at data focused upon curriculum content from the group report for teachers. We'll also look at more detailed data focused on students from the individual student report for teachers and also from the report for parents. This page shows one of the additional areas of analysis, the process category. The blue bar shows the national average for the different categories, and the purple bar here shows the performance of the group in question. The table accompanies the bar chart where you can also see the percentage correct. This analysis is based on the percentage of questions achieved by the group. You have the comparison with the national percentage. So there's the number of questions and the difference between the national sample and this particular group. For this particular group, they are outperforming the national sample in 3 of the 4 categories. You may want to investigate the category where this group is underperforming against the national average, as this information can help support learning. Let's look at a different group with a lower overall performance and the analysis of group scores by curriculum content category. In the UK, these categories vary depending on your local curriculum and test level. Here, we have the name of the category, number of questions in this test for that category, and the percentage of scores the group got correct compared to the national average. Now, for this part, if the number of questions in a particular area is low, you may need to be careful when interpreting the difference between your group scores and the national average. This group performed well above the national average in geometry, but for number, measurement and statistics, they were behind their peers nationally. So these areas may need looking at when planning teaching. Now, looking again at our high-achieving group, this bar chart shows the percentage of students in the group who responded correctly to the individual questions within the test. The pink line shows the national percentage correct. You can see that the chart is going from the easiest question to the hardest question. You can also see from the bar charts where there is a divergence within the group. This shows that there is quite a gap between the attainment of this group and the national sample relating to several questions. This bar chart is accompanied by a table which details every question and gives the same information but in tabular form. This will help you identify the questions with the biggest difference compared to the national average and then look at them in more detail. For example, looking at question number 31 on mathematical reasoning and labeling a pie chart, the difference between this group's achievement and the national average is -72%. What could be the reason for this? Has this aspect been covered in class yet? If so, what common misconceptions or errors were identified? Next, we're looking at the student profiles page, also in the group report. The student profiles group students into different state lines with suggestions for teaching and learning for each group. Students are grouped into low-performing, average and high-performing with guidance for teaching these groups. This can help you organize small learning groups for targeted intervention or mixed groups for peer-to-peer teaching and learning. Now, let's look at the individual student report for teachers. Here we have Rob Thompson. In this table, we have the scores, which are the same as in the group report for teachers, and the first table that we looked at. Rob's standard H-score is 112, and his day 9 of 7 is above average. Also, in this report, there is the analysis of curriculum content categories and of process categories. This is followed by a series of bullet points, which suggest some implications for teaching and learning for Rob. Based on his scores and looking at his profile, there are some light touch suggestions for support that might benefit Rob. At the end of the report, there is also a separate question-by-question analysis for Rob, and this can be really useful for targeted support and to help identify those questions that were particularly challenging or easy for Rob. The last one in the set of PDF reports is the individual report for parents. It is your decision whether and how to share this with parents. It can be a useful focus for consultation and for starting conversations with parents. Here we have the student report for parents of Anthony Jameson. We would suggest that this report is talked through at a parents' evening rather than being sent home for the parent to try and understand in isolation. There is a range of ways to present this information, and you can pick the one that suits best for your school and students. For example, in the in-depth parent report, you can see a level of detail, such as the 4 scores for process categories against national percentage. Or there is the option to show Anthony's profile in terms of a simple bar chart and choose whether you want to include scores at all. So the different options for the parent report are the full score, which includes the standard age scores and the stay-nines, or no scores at all. If you are using paper-based tests, the parent report is automatically generated with full details, so if you need a different version, just generate the report again with different options. And for digital, just select the option you want.